Hello, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another show on Cardiff City World. My name's Pan, aka the Greek Leek. Hope everyone's well. And tonight's show, we're going to look at the championship table. It'd be great to also hear from you guys where you think Cardiff City are going to finish this season, and we're going to sort of have a look at every club in the championship starting from the bottom upwards in terms of positions in the league where we think teams will finish this season. Some news that's sort of coming around in terms of Cardiff City, obviously you're aware of. Philogene, who was at Cardiff City a year or so ago, was re-signed for Aston Villa for 18 million. So that was a 13 million profit for Hull for 1 year. So I'm sure Vincent Tan will be kicking himself at not signing him for the 5 million fee that Hull paid for him. Looks like Cody Dramer could be going to Hull. With obviously Ryan Giles has just been signed recently by Hull as well, so that's going to be disappointing. I would have liked to have seen Cody Dramer at Cardiff City, and possibly Stansfield, who looks like he could be going to Birmingham for a fee of up to 5 million. Birmingham spending a lot more money than any of the Championship clubs in League One, and Cardiff City are interested in him, but yeah, they're not going to pay that kind of money. So that's another one. So yeah, we're still looking obviously for a striker as of today. Looking at, I think Sorry Kaba would be a fantastic re-signing for Cardiff City. He scored 8 goals in 17 games while on loan. Hasn't worked out Las Palmas. I think they'd be willing to sell him for 2 million. Whether they would let him go on loan, who knows? But I think he'd be a success at Cardiff City, well liked by Cardiff City fans. And the one I've mentioned previously in other podcasts is Ross Stewart, who's at Southampton, did fantastically well at Sunderland before his injury. He scored 10 goals in 13 games before his horrendous injury. He's got 30 odd goals in 70 games, 1 in 2 for Sunderland. And he's a proven championship striker, 28, perfect age. Yes, he's had a bad injury, but he hasn't had a history of injuries. I think that would be an amazing loan signing if we could get him. So, right, let's crack on. Let's have a look at the championship perspective, what we think could happen this season based on where we're at. Obviously, clubs are going to sign more players. Things can change with a couple of signings, as in Cardiff City, as things stand. We haven't got a striker. By the time this podcast comes out, may well be that we've signed a striker, so that could change things as well. So let's have a go. It'd be really good to know who you think will finish bottom. Where Cardiff City are going to finish, where our rivals you think will finish, the Jacks, and who do you think will go up? And be really interested to know other fans' views in terms of as things stand, where they think the teams will finish in the championship. So we'll start at the bottom of the table and we'll work up. So I'm going to go for Oxford United to be bottom of the table this season. Des Buckingham, who was interviewed for the Wales job, rather surprisingly, but obviously he's highly regarded by the Welsh FA. So he did a fantastic job of getting Oxford up. A lot of ex-Cardiff City players there. Obviously Murphy, and there was Harris. Obviously Mark Harris, who scored 19 goals for him last season, and I think Vokes is there as well. So and they did fantastically well to get promoted in a league where there's a lot of big clubs. So credit to Des Buckingham's Oxford, but I do feel they'll struggle this season for goals. So I might be wrong, but they're my tip to be bottom of the table. Next, I've gone for our rivals down west, the Jacks, Swansea City. Yes, I do hate Swansea City with a passion. I have done since I started watching City 1980. But this is nothing personal. I can assure Swansea City fans that this is just based on the fact that they've lost Nathan Wood in defence. They've haven't really had a striker. Jerry Yates is gone on loan to Derby. They've got Ronald, who's their star Brazilian player on the wing, but they really lack, a goalkeeper. Rushworth's gone back to Brighton. Lack a central defender, lack a striker. Things could change, obviously, in terms of who they get a sign. Sign a couple of foreign guys who've come in. who, Swansea obviously play passing game, and on their day they can be very good. But I just feel Swansea City fans are disillusioned with their American owners. They're not impressed really with the amount of money that's going out the club in terms of selling players and it not being re-spent on the club. So I think they will be relegated this season. And then I've gone for a Sheffield Wednesday, who are a massive club. They finished 20th last season. They did really well to stay up. They have signed 7 new players in the summer. As things stand, they'll probably sign another 3 or 4. They will, I think Jamal Lowe has gone there. They're possibly looking at Scott Wright, the winger for Rangers, who's not that rated that highly, but they really are going to struggle with goals. Obviously, Akbo was on loan there, has gone back to his French club. So yeah, I just feel Sheffield Wednesday will struggle again, and it's a shame really if they do get relegated, because their fans are magnificent. Well, probably one of the best away supported teams in the Championship, and probably one of the highest average attendances at home as well at Hillsborough. So those are my bottom 3. I've gone for Blackburn then to finish 21st. They were 19th last season. Their main man is Smodics, who could well be sold. Maybe he's already been sold for 15 million. Scored something like 33 goals in 48 games for Blackburn. So he's going to be near enough impossible to replace. Blackburn fans have got a real hate-hate relationship with their Venky owners. They've got a good championship manager in John Eustace, so I think that might be enough just to keep them up. Then I've gone for Derby County, again a massive club promoted from League One. Rams, I just feel they'll struggle. They've got a few ex-Cardiff City players there. Obviously Collins up front, Mendes Lang, whose career has been revitalised since joining them, and Ebo Adams obviously has recently signed from them for probably in total about £1 million. So good luck to Ebo Adams. But I just feel Derby again. They're not really what I call a lethal strike force team. They've got some good players, but I think they'll be at the bottom end of the table. Next, I've gone for Queen's Park Rangers. They finished 18th last season. I think they will do really well to stay up. Obviously, Lyndon Dykes is their main man up front, but he does he's injury prone at times. Sam Field in midfield, and Cher is the highly rated lad. They've also got theirs, but they do lack a bit of quality. Obviously, we've recently got Chris Willock from them after his 4 years at QPR, and he's been a player of the year for them previously. So that's a big loss for Queen's Park Rangers. So I feel they'll be in around the bottom 6 this season. Then I've gone for Pompey. Did fantastic well to get promoted from League One. First time in the Championship since from 2012. Their Portuguese Manu Moutinho has done really well. Some ex-Cardiff City players with Marlon Pack. I say Fratton Park probably will be one of the best atmospheres to go to as a Cardiff City fan away this season. They're fantastic fans. They intimate ground, old-fashioned ground, get about 18,000. Portsmouth fans really travel well as well. So there'll be 2 really juicy games for City fans to look forward to. And from my start watching Cardiff City, which was around about 1980, always remember the 1982-83 battles we had with Pompey at Fratton Park and Ninian Park. And there's a good rivalry between the 2 clubs, well respected, both fans. And I think Pompey will stabilise in their first season, do enough to stay up. I've then gone for another club who are well supported and got great fans. That's Plymouth Argyle. Obviously, they are managed by Wayne Rooney, who had a really shocking time as manager of Birmingham City, but he did reasonably well at Derby, and I think he'd be really looking to prove some doubters wrong. I think Plymouth, to be fair, again, their fan base is superb. They've got great fans at home park, and they travel well as well. So I think they'll be hard to beat, but I don't think they'll pull up any trees this season. Then I've gone for Millwall, who finished 13th last season. They've got experienced defender Cooper. They've got Zane Fleming, who's a fantastic quality attacking midfielder. I think, they will struggle away from home. They're pretty hard to beat at the Den. They've got Nisbet, who signed from Hibs, who struggled in his first season, but I think he'll improve. Took time to settle in. So, yeah, I'm going for Millwall to finish around 16th. Then I've gone for the Black Cats. Sunderland finished disappointing 16th last season. They had some amazing players like Jack Clark, Player of the Year, and highly rated Joby Bellingham. I think they're both, if they haven't already been sold, for a combined fee of 40-45 million. And I'm sure they'll reinvest that money. But I just feel Sunderland, obviously they sold Ross Stewart a season, so a few months back. I think they'll struggle for goals. But as I said, if they do sell those two big players, get a huge amount of money in, who knows who they could sign before the transfer window closes. Then I've gone for Watford. Watford have had 11 managers in 4 years, believe it or not. The board at the Hornets, they don't obviously have much patience. And, Cleverly is the manager there. He's been there since March. But, again, based on their history of managers, he'd be lucky to survive past October, really. They've got the highly regarded Esprilla on the wing. They've got Luzo in midfield and pretty good player in Porteous in defence, steady. So I think, Watford, they should be all right. They are a pretty decent side at this level, but again, it's one of those teams who you just don't know whether they're going to have enough this new season. But I'm going to go for Watford as to finish 14th. Then I've gone for Stoke City. The Potters finished 17th last season. They've got a few decent players, but they don't really rip up any trees. Really, I think they're not a team that I personally think are going to be challenging in the top 10. But at the same time, I think they've got quite a bit of experience in the Championship, so I think they will have enough to be around sort of mid-table-ish. Then I've gone for Preston North End. They finished a solid 10th last season. Obviously, Peter Risdale, ex-Cardiff City chairman, is the director there now. They've got a pretty steady team with Captain Brown and Lindsay in defence, and promising young players in Key and Best. Obviously, Liam Miller was one of their star players who was on loan from Swiss club Basel last season. Real fantastic attacking left winger, so that would be a loss for them. I think Preston got a lot of experience in the Championship, pretty hard to beat at home at Deepdale, so I think they'll finish mid-table. Right, now, this was a really tough one for me. I think Errol Bullitt has done a fantastic job in his first season and did as well as he possibly could. As things stand at the moment, and as I said, things could change if we get a quality striker in, like the Ross Stewarts I've mentioned, or sorry, Cabba. As things stand, I'm going for Cardiff City to finish 11th based on what we've currently got with Chambers and Willock. We obviously are going to sign 3, 4, 5 more players. So that's just my view at the moment. Cardiff City fans, be interested to hear what you think. I just feel that, we will improve defensively if McGuinness stays. I think with an attacking coach, our style will be more effective moving forward. I've been encouraged with what I've seen in pre-season friendly so far, but the jury's out in terms of, Davis obviously did really well in Belgium, did quite well pre-season, but, I don't think he's going to get us 15, 20 goals. I hope I'm wrong. So we really need a quality striker, as all Cardiff City fans know. And as I said, if someone like McGuinness goes, we need an extra central defender. There's a lot of ifs and buts, So as things stand, I would see us being 11th. But if we sign a quality striker and 2 or 3 other quality additions like James and Willock, we could be challenging around the playoffs or around that 8th position. As I said, as long as you're in and around that top 10 come March, a couple of wins and suddenly things change quickly. So yeah, Cardiff City fans, let us know what your view on where we would finish as things stand. Then I've gone for Coventry City, excellent season last year, finishing ninth, semi-finalist in the FA Cup. Mark Robbins is a fantastic young manager, building a really promising young team. Ellis Sims up front, who was signed from Everton, highly regarded. Haji Wright, Ben Shield, Player of the Year. So Coventry really are, their fans fantastic. Rico Arena travel really well, and I think Coventry have got every chance of being in and around that sort of top 10. Hull City are my next team. They came seventh last season, but as I said, they're likely, they already sold Philogene, possibly, I don't know if Greaves is gone, for a combined total of 35 million. Ryan Giles, as I said, is signed, and Cody Draymond looks like he's going to sign next week. They'll have a lot of money, like Sunderland, I believe, by the time a few of these transfers go through. German coach Walter will obviously look to improving things. So they're a club I've got to finish ninth as things stand, where I think they've got every possibility of being in the playoffs if they sign a few more players. Then I've gone for Bristol City, owned by local businessman Lansdowne. This guy has done really well, Bristol City. They're slowly building. They've sold a couple of big name players like Clark for 20 odd million. And they've really been building year on year to improve and get near that playoffs. And I just think they will be in and around the sort of playoff areas. They've got Dickey in defence, Knight in midfield, and Conway up front, who's a promising striker. I think they definitely are improving, and I think Bristol City could be one to watch. West Bromwich Albion are my team to finish just outside the playoffs. They've got a very good goalkeeper in Griffiths. Keeper, obviously, ex-Cardiff City, is defence, Swift in midfield, and they've got Jed Wallace and Dyke up front. They've got a lot of quality players. The Hawthorns is a fantastic stadium, one of the best stadiums for me that I visited in the Championship. Really enjoyed going to the Hawthorns, and I think West Brom will always be in and around that area. They've got plenty of money, so I'm sure. I think they got taken over by a businessman for about 60 million not so long ago. So I'm sure they'll be pushing for the playoffs this season. Right, guys, on to the playoffs. I've gone for Norwich City to finish sixth. They've got Cordoba centre back, McLean, Sarr in midfield, cost 18 million, Sargent 15 million up front. They will be there or thereabouts. They're a fantastically run club. Delia Smith obviously is on the board there. They sell out every game at Carrow Road. They're very hard to beat at home. Didn't do as well as I expected last season, but as I said, they have got a lot of quality players for the Championship, and I just think they'll add a bit more and certainly be in those playoffs. Then I've gone for Luton, who did amazingly well in their season in the Premier League last season, just missed out on staying up. Managed by Welshman Edwards. They've got Thomas Kaminski, they were Player of the Year. Mengi, £12 million in defence. Doughty, 10 million in midfield. Carlton Morris, who's valued at 50 million up front. And Adebayo, so they've got a lot of quality players. Obviously, Ross Barkley has recently left them and signed for Aston Villa, I think, for about 5 million. But, again, Luton, really well-run club. Small ground, as we know, only 10,000. And I'm sure Luton, obviously with their parachute payments, will be challenging there or thereabouts. So I'm going for them to finish fifth. Next, I've gone for Sheffield United, again relegated from the Premier League. They've got the parachute payment. They will have 2 points deducted at the start of the season under the EFL rules for defaulting on payments. But they've got a lot of quality players. They've got £15 million midfield player Hamer, Cameron Archer, ex-Fulham striker, valued at 15 million up front. And they've got a centre back. I think they've signed for 20 million quid, which I can't pronounce. But they are, going to be there or thereabouts. Their players are way above some of the Championship players of other teams. So I think Sheffield United will definitely be in around the playoffs. So I've gone for fourth. Then just missing out on automatic promotion, I've gone for Middlesbrough. I think Middlesbrough, I predicted they would go up last season. They had a horrendous start to the last season, but their form, really improved, and they got the semi-final of the Carabao Cup. They've got a really strong squad, and I think they'll be definitely in the playoffs. They have got a lot of quality players at their club. I think Rav van Deth is 20 years old. He's a Dutch defender. He was the player of their season, and Carrick there, the manager, ex-Man United, fantastic team he's putting together, and the way they play football as well is really good. So I think Borough, after the bad start last season, will hit the ground running this season, and I expect them to be in that playoffs area at third. So my top two for 24-25, I've gone for Leeds United to go up automatically. Disappointed they missed out promotion last season. But again, quality players throughout. Ampadu is player of the year for them, I think, in defence. They've got Nontu, Somerville, as things stand. Some of them may be sold. Obviously, they may sell a couple of their big players like Nontu and Somerville, but Leeds obviously, sell out Ellen Road. Massive away support. I think probably the best away supported team, and they will definitely sign some big names. Bamford, they've got up front. So they are a big club for the Championship, and I've got no doubts they'll be going up this season. And then going for the Championship title, I've got Burnley. Obviously, their manager company has left and gone to Bayern Munich. They've now got Scott Parker as their new manager. They've got players like Trafford in goal, who signed for 20-30 million. They've got amazing sort of amount of quality, really, even though they would have been really disappointed to have been relegated last season. I don't think many people really predicted them to go down, but they are a really well-run club, and players like Lyle Foster there, Amdo Liami, he's the Swiss lad up front. I think he's valued at 20 million, or they signed for 20 million. So they've got a huge amount of quality in their squad, and I expect them to go back up as champions this season. So there we are, guys. That's my predictions for 24-25, just based on where we're at the moment in terms of transfers that have gone through. I obviously, as a Cardiff City fan, like yourselves, hope that we are in the playoffs come the end of the season. I still believe that we sign the right players in the right positions, like we've done with Chambers and Willett. There's no reason why we can't challenge. Especially, we know how hard it's going to be. Obviously the clubs have come down. The Sheffield Uniteds, the Lutons, Burnies of this world. They've got a huge amount of money in terms of parachute payments. They've got a massive advantage over clubs like Cardiff City. But with the recruitment team we've got in place, I think everyone's really encouraged with the kind of direction we're going in. There's a lot of quality young players at Cardiff City, and let's hope, fingers crossed, that we can get in that playoff. I'm sure it'll be a better season than last season. I'm sure, we won't have 10 home defeats like we did last season, and we'll see more goals. We definitely need more goals. 53 goals last season. We definitely need to be scoring something like 70 goals to be in and around those playoffs. So let's see your views, lad. Guys, it'll be great to know what you think will happen this season. And that's it. I will be back again with Si on a Friday edition, probably in a week or so's time. So see you soon.